We are moving on, and what we are moving on towards too is, well, a slightly different field. It is fitness. Fitness. How does IoT connect to fitness? Well, that's a decent question. It's not something I'm gonna answer. This is something our next speakers are gonna try to shed some light on. So I would like to welcome to the stage the commercialization expert at EDI, Kristina Oļševska, and researcher and head of cyber physical systems laboratory at EDI, Krišjānis Nesenbergs. Kristina and Krišjānis, the stage is yours.
Hi.
Hello. So, you probably all have heard millions of reasons why sports is good. So, people tell you it's healthy, it's good for you, it makes you feel better. So, I'll not try to convince you that you need actually do sport. But most of you probably have felt that if it can be dangerous if you do it wrong, or it can be maybe hard to do it right. So this is what we'll talk about.
Yes, exactly. So let's start from the basics. My name is Kristina, and today we are going to talk, as Krišjānis mentioned, something about sports and something about IT. We both are coming from Institute of Electronics and Computer Science, or EDI. I am a commercialization expert, but it's not only one of my passions. IT is just one of the things that I love in my life. The other one is yoga. I actually have been doing a lot of sports since childhood, starting from dancing, running half marathons, and now one of my recent passions is yoga. I have been practicing for at least 6 years.
Yeah, and I represent the hardware side, the research side, so I'm a researcher and head of the research project in which we developed this technology at EDI. And of course, I also have some hobbies, and I like doing different sports, and I've tried very many different ones, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yes, so did you know that in the whole world there is around 174 million gym practitioners, 11 million dancers, me included, and 3 times more yoga practitioners in USA alone. So we all can see that sport is kind of an integral part of our life, of my life for sure. So let me tell a story. When I was learning yoga 6 years ago, I actually remember questioning if I'm doing poses right. One of my goals was to learn handstand, and I actually didn't hire a teacher because I wanted to be flexible with my time and not be restricted to a single practice location. So yeah, as you can see, one of my goals was to learn handstand. I practiced 4 to 5 times a week, failed and failed numerous times, yet around after a year, I started to notice growing advancements. As you can see, maybe some of those videos, I could stand for a couple of seconds and even do twists, what was pretty cool, to be honest. But unfortunately, these advancements caused me to suffer multiple strains and injuries. And actually, Krišjānis has some similar story to tell.
So yeah, me and sports, it's quite a journey, because when we were kids, we were just trying to do everything, and it didn't matter if we broke our arms or did something else like skateboarding, snowboarding, and whatever. When I grew older, then I started to feel that maybe I'm doing something wrong sometimes. Maybe if I decided, okay, I will run a marathon this year, then maybe my knee started to hurt. Then maybe when I decided to try weightlifting, I saw that also this has some potential for damage. Maybe something on the back hurts, or maybe something else. And also, of course, the problem that you sometimes see that you're actually doing something wrong, and when it clicks, then you actually see that you can do much better. You can run longer, you can lift heavier, and you are not damaged. You don't need to get to the doctor. But this is a very long journey if you're doing it yourself. So this is what we hopefully try to change.
Yes, exactly. And we are not here alone, because in sports, like Krišjānis said, injuries seem to be really common. One of the recent studies that was published in Mayo preceding clinic noticed that 2 out of 5 practitioners will hurt themselves in HIIT workouts. HIIT means high interval intensity trainings within 6 months. So basically, 2 people out of 5 will hurt themselves. They will have injuries or some maybe some kind of small bruises, but still it will be an injury. Dance companies have reported these data to be really much more higher. So 95% of all dancers are injured on annual basis. And staggering 93% of all dance teachers were forced into that position after career-ending injury. So imagine 9 of 10 dance teachers are in the position because of the injury that might be prevented.
So yeah, and basically when we get injured, we usually go to a specialist for rehabilitation or something else. We can also prevent injuries through better training if we have a good coach, good trainer who can tell us what we can do correctly. This also helps. In modern days, when the globalization has hit, we can actually remotely discuss things with the world's best and brightest trainers or rehabilitation specialists. So this gives us even more opportunities and even more, of course, technical challenges to make this actually work.
Yes, and since we all know what happened 2 years ago, so COVID-19 hit and the whole world got shattered and the need for isolation and safety measures increased. And we all know that in Latvia as well, gyms and studios got closed. So teachers and physiotherapists and trainers needed to adapt and switch from teaching face-to-face to learn online, to do workouts online. And myself, as I am a certified yoga instructor, I did workouts online, and I know that this miscommunication between me and my clients increased while motivation decreased. But it's not that bad as well, because since COVID is here, we also have noticed the growing advancements, because the COVID has accelerated this the change in technologies, and it changed our behavior as well. Not mentioned medicine, etc. And actually now more than ever, people seeking some sort of community and belonging is turning to digital tools.
Yeah, so at first we were all quite happy that we could connect remotely, we could use teleconferencing to meet other people, we didn't have to leave home. And people are trying to do sports at home and discuss it with their trainers online. And of course, this kind of works, but there are all these stories that we noticed that it doesn't quite really work. For example, when you have your teacher do something online, they go away from the camera, try to show you something, you try to see what they're doing, then they come back, try to look at what you are doing. All of the school children who also had to do the remote school sports activities and stuff like that.
Yeah, and actually I have one story as well to tell. I remember one of my friends, she's a dance teacher, and she's teaching dance, contemporary jazz to kids. And when the first lockdown was here in Latvia, I remember she was talking with me about that. She's trying to teach some dance moves to their kids via Zoom, and you know, everyone's saying, yeah, it's fine, I know, I understood the dance moves, and yeah, the practice is good, and etc., etc. When the lockdown ended and they finally get together in the classroom to kind of try to dance out the dance, my friend noticed that no one understood the moves, and they actually admitted that the Zoom was so boring, and it wasn't that easy to learn because they didn't see how she's moving. So yeah, this is the one.
So we all can feel and see that there is some sort of communication or connection problem between people, especially if physicality is involved, if you need to see the person and interact with them.
Yeah, and just to go on, you know, there are thousands of fitness apps to choose from, and maybe even some of you are using one of those, like Less Miles, Nike training app, Medbars is one of my favorite, to be honest, Peloton and MindBody. But the problem is with all those apps is that there is not a single solution in the world that can help to unify clients and trainers and provide this unified solution to better understand how client is performing, how the body moves, to be precise, and for trainers to make those workouts more relevant based on data of the people who is giving those data.
So yeah, so what we really want is to have some sort of centralized place where we can not only look at the data, because of course we can go for a run, take our smartwatch, log our data, and be happy that we did something, have some calories burned, and something like that. And then, of course, we can film ourselves, how we are moving, and send that to the trainer. But we need an integration between the trainer, between our data, and between our, basically our bodies, how they are moving, and of course the client itself. And this needs to be kind of a real-time interaction to actually stick. So this is what we are trying to accomplish, basically.
Yes, and keeping that all in mind, what we have been doing for the past a year or so, we are developing, hopefully, the world's first smart wearable ecosystem. It will be an interactive activity app that will be paired with smart wearables and machine learning. And by smart wearable, I really don't necessarily think about smart watches, because everyone thinks nowadays the smart wearable is kind of a watch, Fitbit or Apple Watch that you can go and count the steps. But by smart wearable, we think about something like this, some kind of sportswear with built-in sensors that just can help you to track actually your movements. Track movements, progress. For example, in yoga and in dance, it's really, really important. Because of my own story, I just know how hard it was for me to see the progress. For example, for a handstand, I literally trained here and took photos every time I practiced, just to see if I actually do something right, and how long can I stand in a handstand.
So basically, let's see how it works. So the idea, there are several, hopefully the video will play.
Yes, hopefully.
If not, then we'll really need to talk and interact. But what you should see is a video of people doing training outside, learning physical activities, and it's really, really sad that we don't see it.
Yes.
But basically the goal is like this. Usually you could have, for example, motion tracking setup in a physical location, for example, a studio, or using something like Microsoft Kinect, for example. But this is only fixed to one location. It's quite expensive. But with a wearable suit similar to this, but it of course doesn't need to be just this suit, you can basically walk anywhere. It's mobile. It doesn't need a connection to the internet at the time. You can log your movements, and you can see comparison with movements that the trainer actually did. For example, if she would do some training activities, for example, show me a yoga pose, she could record it and send it to my phone, and I could then try to replicate it. And the trainer, on the other hand, could really see what I did. She could rotate my avatar 360 degrees, see maybe my arm was somewhere in the wrong placement. And also, which is very important for trainers, is to actually see the compliance. If I actually did try maybe 10 times a day, or maybe not. So all of this is what we are trying to accomplish. It's really sad that we don't have the video. We can probably show it to you if you come to our booth later, which is right down the hallway. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically just the sum up of our whole presentation is that what we are trying to do, we are trying to develop something that everyone can use, something that is, thanks to globalization, can access. For example, if we have a really good teacher in USA and I'm in Latvia and I want to really specifically learn from the teacher in USA, that this kind of solution would help us to understand better because we have those new data. And you know, thanks to COVID and the whole pandemic, the digitalization is here and people really are starting to try to use those kind of tools to help them with training and teaching and learning.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you very much. And I'm really sad that we cannot show you the video. It's probably because it's too large. But as Krišjānis mentioned, if you are come to our booth down the aisle there, somewhere there, then we can show you the video and maybe try to show something from the prototype as well. And the final note, since we are only at the beginning of the ecosystem development, we are looking for investors, trainers, physiotherapists, or some sports companies that would like to join our ecosystem and maybe just help us with advices. Once again, we are there, we are open for discussions, and if you have any questions, please, we are also here to try to answer them. Thank you.